I'm going to show you the most important places to put information for SEO, and since the AIs have to crawl websites and web pages, this is going to matter for the AI as well. If you don't know me, hi there, my name is Bruce. I've been doing digital marketing, SEO, affiliate marketing since 2015. I've helped small, medium, large businesses get more traffic, sales, and customers by showing up at the top of search engines. I make these videos because I love this stuff, and I'm going to show you exactly what I do so that you can look at your website and you can replicate this for yourself, or you can look at your website and maybe reach out to someone to do this stuff for you, and then you could check their work. Anyway, this will be useful for you going forward. Okay, so let me share my screen with you. Okay, so this is the order of importance of where you want to put information, right? So the most important place is to put information in your domain name. So actually, let me pull up my website as an example. Okay, so here we have my domain name, Determined Solutions, right? So because Google has to decide what something is about, one of the most important places to put information to tell Google what you are about is in your domain name. So my website is very relevant for Determined Solutions. If your website is bestplumbersinnebraska.com, you're going to be very relevant for the bestplumbersinnebraska.com. So if you do TV repair in Miami and your website is bestplumbersinnebraska.com, that's not going to be helping you very much. So the brand name goes right here. That's going to be your brand. That's going to be the most important place to put information for a bot to come crawl. A Google bot, a chat GPT bot, Grok bot, whatever. That is the most important place. Next up is the page title. Okay, so page title, right? That's this up here. In this case, it's Determined Solutions SEO. So I added SEO because I want to be relevant for search engine optimization. I could leave the SEO off, but I have it on there. So you could put a keyword here if you want to. Or you could do like your brand name, Determined Solutions, and then you could do like dash SEO services, something like that. You don't want to get too crazy right here. It's you want to put your brand name, or you want to put your brand name and a service or possibly keyword. Next up is going to be a URL. So that would be like, let me see. So the URL is the domain name, but specifically we're talking about a URL would be like an article or a service or maybe a product. So in this case, like SEO services, right? And so this page would be very relevant for SEO services, right? And then if I had something like PPC, right, pay-per-click, this page would be very relevant for people who want to do paid advertising on like Google or Bing. So that's where you would put your service. If you're, a plumber, you might also put a service area. So like, let's say I'm in London right now. So maybe I put London right here. But anyway, the URL is a very important place to put information because the bot comes and crawls this. So if it crawled this page, I would be very relevant for Determined Solutions, and then a little bit less relevant, but also still very relevant for London, right? Because it's in the URL. The information wouldn't be in the URL unless the person who created the page wanted to show up for it. That's what the bot is thinking. So if you do have a London office, right, and you just and like say you offer your Determined Solutions, you have offices in multiple locations, one of them's in London, and you just say office, right, or office number 2, right? That's not going to be as helpful and descriptive as London. Your office might be located in London, so you'd want to put London. So I see clients and people that come to me, oftentimes they'll get this wrong. They'll get the URLs to their products and services wrong. And sometimes e-com has a problem with this as well, e-commerce websites. So you just want to be descriptive. You don't want to go crazy. You don't want to be sneaky. You just want to be descriptive about what that page is about. That's the URL, very important place to put information. Next is going to be headings. H1, H2, H3. Don't really use H4 much. And you only want to use one H1. Google, I think, officially says you can use more, but if anyone knows, like back in the day, an old school physical newspaper, the headline at the top of the newspaper, what is an H1, right? It's considered the H1. And so you're only going to have one headline on a page. So it just doesn't make sense from a user perspective either. Just have one headline, right? So you have one headline and then subheadings, and they can be H2s and H3s. But if I'm in London and I'm offering SEO services, I might say something like, an H1 example might be something like comprehensive SEO services, if I could spell services in London, right? So that might be my H1. Now you don't put H1, but you put information. So a bot would crawl this, and that would help make the page more relevant for SEO services and in London. And then next up would be image files. You want to treat image files. I've made some other videos about how to do image file names, but you basically do image file names like you would do an article URL. You want to optimize it the same way. And then the alt text, you would do something more akin to this. You don't try and keyword stuff it, but with the alt text, you just say specifically what the video is about. If it's 2 pairs of running shoes, then you just write 2 pairs of running shoes or something like that. But this isn't as important. I mean, this is good. This is helpful for bots, right? They do come and crawl these file names. But I don't know about the LLMs, the AIs. But Google, as of like 2-3 years ago, they were getting so good at determining what an image was about that it almost seemed like it was making this like you didn't really need to do it. So Google's really good at this. I don't know about the other bots that are going to come crawl your site, the AIs, but I would still do that if you want to just, dot the I's and cross the T's. And after that, it would be metadata and then content. So content is like what you're writing the page about. So this would be yada, 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 paragraph of just talking about our SEO services in London. That's going to be the content, right? Just paragraph text, right? That's not as an important place. So if you're like keyword stuffing here, it's not useful. And just tell this, don't even write for search engines or AIs here. Just write for your customer, tell them the reasons, what services you offer and why they should use you. And metadata is this stuff. I usually don't do metadata unless I'm having a really hard time ranking, because Google usually just pulls the metadata that it wants. And sometimes you can put the metadata in here, the meta description, and then Google will choose its own meta description. So I usually just let Google handle this. That's why it's at the end of the order in importance. And so we can just take a look at a few searches to see, hey, is Bruce correct? Does he know what he's talking about? So this is a huge search term, very competitive. Let's go and let's look. Okay, men's health. Okay, that makes sense. It's a health It's a health website. I'm currently in the UK and London, so it's got that UK right there. Nutrition, okay, but then look at this: best whey protein powder. What are we searching for? Best protein powder. So it's got like half of the search directly there in the URL. Okay, let's look at the page title: 11 best whey protein powders. So best protein powders is in the meta description as well. What you can't see is that this website is also super powerful, has a ton of links. That's why it's showing up. And then let's do page source H1. Let's do open. And okay, can I scroll over? How can I scroll over? Here we go. Here we go. There's the H1, and this stuff is like web design stuff, talking about the design of the actual stuff. Here it is. Here's the H1, the 11 best whey protein powders approved by nutritionists and fitness editors, right? And there's only going to be one H1, right? But they have like information that they want the search engines to show up for in the H1. So they're doing it right. And then image files and metadata and content. Obviously, the content is about, the best protein powders. And so that's how it works. That's on-page SEO. That's the simple version. But as you can see, this matters not only for small websites, but it also matters for big websites as well. So I hope you found this helpful. If you found this helpful, I'd appreciate it if you gave me a thumbs up. If you thought this was terrible, I'd appreciate it if you gave me a thumbs down, because that also does help me with the algorithm, believe it or not. And if you know someone that could benefit from this video, please send this video to them. If you have any questions about this video, please ask me in the comments or wherever you see this video, and I will answer you. And if you want to get the best WordPress web hosting, which is what I use for my affiliate sites because it's the fastest, most secure, and it has the best customer service, I'm going to leave that link below. I highly recommend you use them, or you can use whatever you want. Anyway, hope you found this helpful. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video.